Some of these you will already know, this first one being an example, and that is tabbing up your manual for swift reference, where you can write on them and tab up all of your official manual, because of course you're allowed to bring that into the practitioner exam with you. And speedy access is all about passing your exam, right? Now be careful, you can't insert anything else other than tabs. You can't, for example, insert printed or handwritten extra paper within the manual. That is not allowed. What you can do, however, is write in the margins and any other blank or half blank pages within the manual, of which there's several. There's 3 totally blank ones right at the back of the manual for a starter. So you probably know about that as well. Now what would you tab up? And this is the point of the remainder of this video. Well, obviously key bits, perhaps the chapters would come to mind immediately, but I want to try and hone that down and encourage you to put other tabs in as well. Here we go. I'll go through this quite quickly. I've added some graphics taken out of the manual. They're not there really for you to read, just as a reminder of what you're looking for. So let's start off. Appendix A is where all of your management product templates are stored. Here's page 291. Here's a master list of them all. And if you have any question that's talking about what's within a management product, you can quickly go here and get the right answer. So put a tab in page 291. Appendix C. Appendix C is about the roles and responsibilities. Now, although within each theme you'll find a roles and responsibility list for each of them, and I'll be covering that shortly, but that is a role and responsibility relative to the theme. For example, risk responsibilities in the risk theme. Whereas C gives you an overview. It's on page 337, put a tab in that. It starts off here with the executive, their responsibilities, and goes through the other roles. In the business case theme, there's a great diagram of how the business case is used within its lifetime. I say lifetime because, of course, it's used after the project is complete. Tab up page 49. Here's the diagram. It's great for if you have a question that's testing your knowledge of how a business case is updated or verified throughout the project and beyond, as you can see here. Still on the business case theme, go and tab up page 52 as well. It talks about the roles and responsibilities for the project. Again, if you get any question on that, here's a quick and fast reference to get the answer. Again, on the business case theme, the differences between outputs, outcomes and benefits. On page 47, put a tab there. Nice little handy diagram here. You shouldn't be looking at it for the first time. You should understand it, but it'll just remind you of the general sequence and flow between project outputs, leading to business changes, desired outcomes, benefits, and meeting strategic objectives, while being mindful of side effects and consequences and what's known as disbenefits. Great little diagram to clear your head if you've got any question about this. The organisation theme on page 63, here's a great overview diagram that reminds you of the main roles involved within a PRINCE2 project. So if you get any questions relating to any of these, before you dive into the detail, this may provide you with a quick answer. Still on the organisation theme, this I think is quite important. It talks about project management team combining and responsibilities. In the practitioner, it's all about tailoring, and combining roles might be a question that comes up, and they're testing your understanding. Again, this will give you great information as well as talking more about the typical roles. You'll find that on page 67 and 68. Put a tab in there. Appendix D. This gives you a product-based planning example, complete with the product breakdown structure and product flow diagrams. What I want you to do, however, is to tab up pages 351 and 355. On 351, you have an example of a project product description, PPD, and here on 355, a product description. Why is this helpful? I'll tell you why you should put tabs in these, because if you get a question that talks about the type of information under a particular heading, you've got some examples here and it might clarify and make all the difference between you swiftly finding the right answer. Similarly here for a product description. Bringing me to the quality theme. Now the quality audit trail diagram on page 81, put a tab there, is this rather nice diagram that gives you a really great overview within the heat of the exam of how PRINCE2 applies quality. And also in the quality theme, you have the responsibilities on page 83. Again, if a question is trying to bamboozle you into getting the wrong person involved, a quick scan down here will provide you with the right answer. On the plans theme, a diagram of how PRINCE2's plans relate to each other is on page 99. Here's the picture. Very easy. It just reminds you that here's the different levels of plans knowing that there's an initiation stage plan as well as subsequent management stage plans, but also reminding you that exception plans are not a different level. They merely replace either a stage plan, which is forecast to exceed its tolerance, or the project plan. And on page 102, here's a nice sequence showing the steps in carrying out product-based planning, all the way from designing a plan to start with, ultimately ending up with the finished document. This applies whether it's a stage plan or a project plan, with the exception of designing a plan, which you do at one time. Still on the plans theme, you've got a nice picture on page 101 of the plans theme responsibilities. Put a tab in there, again for easy reference. Moving to the risk theme, risk management responsibilities and the risk management procedure steps, pages 122 and 123. Here's a great diagram. It reminds you of the identify as the first step. I'd even put a number 1 there. Second is assess, then plan, then implement, and you go around the loop. Communicating is the 5th step, relating to all of them. A handy quick reminder if you're being asked about a question and about a certain step within risks. The other 2 here, you've got the risk responsibilities for each of the main roles, and most importantly, you've got the responses over here. Some for risk threats, some for opportunities, and some that can be used for both. The examiner seems to like risk response type questions, where you'll be asked to identify what type of response it is. If you're scratching your head in the heat of the exam, having a tab in here will help clear it quickly and get yourself some easy marks. Then on to the change theme. So first tab up page 138, which shows you the 3 different types of issues: request for change, off spec, and problem and concern. I would take a pen and just underneath this also write opportunity, because although the manual doesn't say so, and therefore you won't be examined on it, it is an option. You could have an opportunity, which is an issue because you're not taking advantage of it. It gives you the definition and some handy examples that you can compare to the scenario that you've been given within the question. And of course on page 144, an absolutely vital diagram. It shows the process all the way from capturing through to implement, what goes on inside each, and the relationship with the daily log for informal issues and issue register for formal issues, and the product board or change authority at the top. So you should have a tab in both of these. Still on the change theme, project board decisions on page 146. Put a tab there. It's a simple little diagram here, and it shows exactly what options they have got for making a decision on these 3 types of issues. Still on change theme, the change theme responsibilities. Put a tab in page 141. Here you've got the roles, and here's the part they play. Again, a helpful quick reference. And on the progress theme, tolerance questions are almost certainly to crop up. Put a tab in on page 149. Here you've got the different types of tolerances, where they're applied, and that might help you see whether a question is talking nonsense, whether it's the right answer, or whether it's a dummy. Still on progress theme, tab up page 154. Here you've got who's responsible for what when it comes to managing progress within your PRINCE2 project. Now just the general one to finish off with here, when it comes to any of the 7 processes, you probably know this already, therefore I haven't given any page numbers here, but for example in the initiating a project process, I would tab this page up so you can quickly go and you can see what the activities are within the process and the sequence in which they are applied. If the question needs you to drill down a little lower, here I've taken the example of refine the business case. A few pages on, you'll find that particular activity and the inputs and outputs. Again, that might clarify a tricky question. Well, I hope you found this video immensely helpful. From me, Dave, it's bye for now.